Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Extra Butter Time. I'm Mike T.
I'm Dan.
As usual. And we are here with our good buddy, Clay Marquez, otherwise known as Clay Mundo.
Great to be here.
Clay Mundo.
About to talk on the new Star Wars story, Solo, tonight. But first, let's get to know our good buddy here a little bit, Mr. Clay. Thanks for joining. Really sweet to have you around, talking movies.
Great
Clay,
to be here.
we have a lot of questions, and we want them answered immediately.
I will
No hesitation.
answer to the
Immediately.
best of my ability.
As fast as you can. Rapid fire.
I'm ready to go.
All right. What should we ask him?
Long walks on the beach, yeah or no?
First of all, those shoes.
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you.
You can't see him, but this guy, I mean, you see he's a snazzy to the nines kind of dresser, but these
First
shoes-
He's got style, like Lando.
Yeah, you do. First suit in the truck.
This is the
I love
first
it.
suit
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
truck.
I love it.
Somehow I doubt that, but I'm going to go with it.
Well, first one without a badge.
There you go.
We'll say.
There you go.
But yeah, thanks for classing us up a bit, sir. Where you from? Where you live?
I live up in San Francisco, out in the Sunset. Been there for about 10 years. Loving it.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Cool. What brings you to the Bay? What do you?
No, I'm an attorney up in San Francisco. Grew up in California, went out to law school in New York, and then headed back here with my wife after I graduated. So,
Very awesome.
What kind of attorney?
so I represent the Empire.
That's awesome.
I do actually a commercial litigation and consumer class actions for big Fortune 500 companies. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. So yeah, why Han Solo? What brought you after this one?
You know, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was a little kid. I used to watch the original movies back with my dad when I was just a little kid. I was the kind of nerd that I actually remember this. My senior prom in high school. After prom, before the after party, we actually went to see Star Wars episode.
man.
Star Wars episode 1.
It's a new level of nerdism.
No, seriously, like Jar Jar Binks on
the
prom
night.
night.
Yeah.
Jar Jar
Binks.
Binks.
So
God.
thankfully, the after party was a redeeming moment. But yeah, I've always been into Star Wars. Loved Rogue One when it came out.
Nice.
Thought that was a great sort of new original Star Wars film, and was excited to see what they did with Solo.
That's
So
cool.
you were pumped for this one?
I was, yeah. I've been, and I obviously saw the Last Jedi and the more recent movies. But yeah, I was definitely pumped to come out and check this out.
Huh. And was Han Solo one of your more favorite characters? Were you glad if they did a side story, it was him?
Jar Jar Binks.
So, well, I mean, if you're not going to give Jar Jar Binks his own, and one movie would not be enough for Jar Jar. You really need a series, but it's
Yes, true.
no. One of my favorite characters has actually always been Chewbacca. So,
Yeah,
to see those two and to learn a little bit about the backstory. I've never really read the Star Wars books, but I've always been really into the movies. So to get sort of that context through a new movie that I can enjoy is a bonus.
That's great, man. That's really great. Yeah, what about you, Dan? Were you pretty stoked for this one? Did you have any emotional investment into getting Han's thorough backstory?
And I love Star Wars. I've been watching them since I was a kid too. I've really liked the recent ones.
Yeah.
Except Rogue One, I was actually just kind of medium on. I think. Yeah, I'm not sure why, but
yeah, I feel like that one was kind of like divisive, right? People either really enjoyed that one or it fell flat for people. But you're in the camp of like that. You put that over the Last Jedi.
So that's a tough one. I do like the Last Jedi more because I like that story, but
So,
I did not sort of anticipate Rogue One. It sort of caught me off guard when it came out, and so at first I thought, oh, it's Disney trying to make some more money off the Star Wars stories.
But then Han Solo, not a cash grab.
No. I'm not saying Han Solo's not the same, but Rogue One was the first Star Wars story that sort of deviated from the original 9 episodes. And
Very true.
So
Very true.
I wasn't sure what to expect, and I was pleasantly surprised because I had really low expectations.
Yeah.
And tonight was good, but it was interesting. They weren't sold out. There was plenty of room in the theater on opening night, and it is interesting. I think this one was maybe met with a little bit of a different level of anticipation than some of the ones that have come out more recently.
Yeah, completely. I mean, this was definitely a much different opening night experience than the Avengers.
Yeah.
That's for sure. As far as the crowd enthusiasm and just attendance. So we saw this in the part of San Francisco that's called West Portal.
Yeah.
It's like it's a very small. It's Cinemark. It's a Cinemark theater. Very small three
screens,
screen.
yeah.
I think I'm sure we were in the biggest theater they have, which is like less than 300 seats.
Right.
And we were like, oh my gosh, do we need to get there an hour early? And I was actually early for a change. I helped down, I stood in line for us.
First time in his life.
Yes, and I waited in line with like 10 people. So, and the theater was probably, what would you say, like maybe 20% filled?
Maybe a third, but it was not very full at all.
Which I find awesome in many ways, and will kind of maybe keep this theater in my back pocket as like one to do when I don't want to, deal with the jungle.
With the crowd. I was saying the same thing, and it's very convenient for me. I live like a mile from here, so
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like this here. It's kind of calm.
It's nice, yeah, and sort of on this side of on 19th Avenue is a little quieter. It's a lot of single family homes, and it's a nice old theater that's been there for a long time, from what I understand.
Yeah, a little Starbucks.
It's cool that they still run it. Yeah,
free plug. Yeah, so and I had a very interesting experience in the way of seeing some dude with sunglasses on outside of the theater next to our line doing a very interesing and fun dance.
Can we do like a cut on the final?
Oh yeah, we'll totally edit this as I'm talking about it.
Is he a good dancer or something?
I mean, he had a long trench coat on, which I feel like you can't look bad dancing.
That can help.
Trench coat. Has always been mine.
That, I think, because I'm terrible.
Yes. Life hack. Yeah. Show up to a dance and
trench
sunglasses and a long trench coat. You automatically exude, John Cusack. Another funny story is, they show like all the previews, and then the Marvel comic book scroll comes up. And we're like, oh man, Marvel's really buying everything.
I thought so.
What is going on? And
then we're watching the opening scene to Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Deadpool 2 queues up. Deadpool 2 queues up, which is funny too because there's kids there for Solo. Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen the first Deadpool, but it's super raunchy.
Yeah. It's pretty gruesome and
Yeah. I mean, some woman in the theater even yelled out, "I've seen this. If you have kids, cover their eyes now."
Just in time management cut
so homeboy came out and apologized and told us about the mistake, and said we have trouble keeping track of just 3 movies at a time apparently. So we'll queue up the right one in a few minutes. And to their credit, it was a very fast changeover.
It's quick, but no free popcorn, no nothing. Right?
It's freeloader.
It's true though. If you're gonna waste my time, I need.
That was a waste of time.
Oh man, so
now you've ruined the first minute of Deadpool 2 for me because I haven't seen it yet.
True. Take him to court, Clay. Take him to court. Were you? What was your expectation going into this one?
It's interesting because I try to do. My approach to movies is I try not to read too much about the movies themselves in the reviews because I want to go in with my own expectations and sort of see what I think about it.
Yeah.
But I did see that on this one, for example, like Ron Howard was credited as the director, but he was brought in like halfway through the filming of the movie because they had fired, or not fired, but the original director had left because over artistic differences on editing and some other things, and so Ron Howard came in to clean it up and film some of the final scenes and then do the final editing. So that was kind of an interesting twist. And then I also heard in the news that they had signed the actor who played Han Solo to do a second Solo film. And so with that sort of in mind, it sort of changed my sort of perspective on the movie and what to expect. And I was a little. I should say I had lower expectations coming into this one. So.
Did Ron Howard, was it all reshoots, or did he start from scratch?
No. My understanding is he took a lot of film that wasn't finished, but had been shot, and then he reshot some scenes and mostly did the producing and the sort of the film editing room work. So
he has a history with Lucas anyway.
He does,
Like he did. I think he did Willow, right?
That's right.
Which also
happens.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll talk about that. Sorry. I get so excited.
Sorry, folks. Tune in for that. But okay, so I guess the palace intrigue kind of lowered your expectations, as it were.
Just a little bit, because I wasn't sure quite what to expect, and obviously, like I said, one of the reasons I was pleasantly surprised by Rogue One was because I sort of expected just something sort of cheesy and Disney-fied, and I thought Rogue One was actually a good story in terms of it was interesting. There was a good plot. It was driven well. It was fast-paced. and you didn't really know any of the actors or characters all that well, so it made for sort of a fun experience. It's a little different when you're coming in and you're finding out about the origin story of the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo, and so you have sort of these real expectations, and so I tried to tell myself, like, don't get too excited, let's just go check it out and see what it's about.
That's a good way to go about it. Rogue One was dark too. That's what stood out for me. It was definitely is not too much in the vein of the Star Wars movies, I feel. I mean, you haven't seen Rogue One yet, shame on you, but yeah, I mean, with everybody dying at the end, you know, like them taking out the main characters, but which was true to kind of like how they foreshadowed it in the other movies, how they talk about a lot was sacrificed to get these plans or something. Yeah, so I'm glad they didn't try to lighten that up.
You know what I think is important with the Star Wars movies, if you're a huge fan?
What's that?
That you watch them twice, because I get so amped up, and then it becomes too much of a thing, and then I scrutinize everything.
And it can never meet expectations.
Yeah, so, because I actually, Rogue One's still not my favorite, but I liked it more when I watched it at home. Second time, and then
I need to do that.
With this one, I was not into it at the start, like from the trailers, because of Han Solo. You know, because I was just like, no, it's not him. Right. That doesn't look like him.
It's too hard, right?
And I'm being a jerk. I'm being a total jerk about it. So.
I mean, a young Harrison Ford is hard to find, even in Hollywood. But
it's the truth. It's the truth. Well, yeah, man, we gotta start getting into it. Yeah, thanks again, man. It's good to have you in the curtains here.
Pleasure to be here.
We appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for tuning in to our little interview segment with our buddy Clay. And click the like button, subscribe, notification bell.
What else?
Send me $100 every time you hear a Wookiee roar.
Right on.
Whoa. So we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.